therapy, disregard for the right of individuals to be protected and to be treated with dignity as individuals rather than experiment subjects in a medical trial. It was so shocking that the New England Journal of Medicine said it was unethical and criticized in the strongest of language that kind of experimentation. Number two, Dr. Thatcher promotes concepts like clean needles programs for drug addicts. He's endorsed that concept. He has endorsed reports which say that we should repeal all the laws against clean needles programs so that drug paraphernalia can not only would no longer be a crime on the part of a person on the street, but it could be supplied by government. I think the nation's #1 doctor should be a leader morally and for good health. And what message does it send to a young person, for instance, talking to a junkie when the junkie says, oh, don't worry about shooting up like this. This is perfectly safe. The government even provides us with these needles so that we can do this appropriately. I don't think that's kind of ethical or moral leadership we need. The last point that I would make quickly is that, even Pat Moynihan from New York says that partial birth abortion is infanticide. This is a child that is actually born all but for the last couple inches. And to kill the child, which is survivable at that time outside the mother, is just, it's infanticide. The American Medical Association says that it's infanticide. So there's no real medical agenda here. There's no real health agenda. The only agenda here is the political agenda of President Clinton, which Dr. Thatcher endorses by supporting partial birth abortion. Now, I have to say that the politically correct response to Dr. Thatcher is to hail him for his technical competence and the fact that he's been an outstanding scientist. But my own view is that this administration has been morally and ethically deficited. There is a serious anemia in this administration when it comes to the values that should be expressed at the highest levels of government and are expressed by the American people. And I don't think we need him as America's #1 doctor, given the fact that he's been ethically deficient in conducting medical research, that he is in favor of sponsoring clean needle programs, and he supports partial birth abortion.
Stu just gave me the cue, so I'll ask you quickly. Since the position's been vacant since 1994, do we need a Surgeon General?
Well, we don't need one that leads us in the wrong direction, that's for sure. Now, there have been good things done by Surgeons General. They have alerted us to a number of health hazards and have led America to her highest and best. But if the leadership is going to carry us toward clean needles for drug addicts, why don't we give bulletproof vests to burglars? It would improve their health, but I don't know that that's something we ought to do.
Great analogy, and that's why I said, friends, and you Missourians should be particularly proud that it was Senator Ashcroft who would be the right guy to express these kinds of opinions. Thank you for joining us, Senator, and please join us again and join us on our thanks for joining us on our birthday day for Ronald Reagan. That's Senator John Ashcroft of Missouri. We'll be right back on the CBS Talk Radio Network.
What would it be like to investigate one of history's greatest cover-ups?
Central Command, I'm at the Bastille looking at the face of the prisoner. He might be King Louis XIV's twin as reported.
Agent, I need positive face ID.
Can't give you that. He's wearing an iron mask.
Okay, I'm sending down a welder.
The History Channel presents The Man in the Iron Mask on In Search of History. The search is on, Monday night at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific. Only on the History Channel, where the past comes alive.
I used to drink ordinary hot cocoa, like Carnation or Swiss Miss. But then I found something smooth and creamy.
Ovaltine, hot.
Creamy because it's made with milk, not water.
Ovaltine, hot.
It's chocolatey, and it's good for me, too.
Ovaltine, hot.
Now when I want something hot and chocolatey, it's not ordinary hot cocoa.
Ovaltine, hot.
It's Ovaltine, hot.
Drink Ovaltine, hot. Compare it to your hot cocoa and taste the difference.
It's hard to stop a train. E.T. Fairland Son of Mount Olive, your quality train dealer, has the Train XL 1200 high-efficiency gas pack designed, tested, and manufactured to last. The XL 1200 will run for years regardless of the climate or weather, and the compressor is covered by Trane's 10-year manufacturer's limited warranty, plus 20 years on the heat exchanger and 2 years on all parts and labor. So for reliable year-round comfort, call E.T. Farrell & Sons, serving Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years, 658-2971.
If you're a college-bound high school senior, don't overlook Mount Olive College right in your own backyard. Mount Olive offers a wide choice of majors for more than 20 subject areas, including biology, business, criminal justice, English, education, and many others. Financial assistance is available in the forms of scholarships, grants, and loans. Mount Olive is hosting a visitation day on Monday, February the 16th, beginning at 9 a.m. For more information or reservations, call 658-7164.
The 98 Goldsboro News Argus Focus Edition will take a closer look at Wayne County and surrounding areas, Friday, February 27th. This edition will provide a clear picture of what makes Wayne County special by examining our people, communities, and future. Being a part of the edition will be beneficial because Focus will be delivered to a total of over 25,000 homes. Topics will cover Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, the economy, agriculture, industry, neighborhoods, and area towns. See Wayne County through the eyes and words of people who live here. Call the Goldsboro News Argus for complete details.
Hello, this is Martin Sheen. You know, so many people today complain about the rising cost of health care. Well, I'd like to tell you about a group of hospitals that for 75 years has been charging nothing. That's right, nothing. Shriners Hospitals don't charge anything for the expert medical care they provide to children with orthopedic problems or severe burns. If you know a child they might be able to help, call 1-800-237-5055 for more information. Shriners Hospitals, helping kids for 75 years.
Want experience that prepares you for anything? Join the Army National Guard.
All these questions about your personal life have to be painful to you and your family. At what point do you consider that it's just not worth it and do you consider resigning from office?
Never.
Well, the reason we had Senator Ashcroft on, besides the fact that we love him, is because that's exactly what he was urging the president to do, and he's given the impeccable integrity, unquestioned integrity of John Ashcroft. He could say, this president, if these allegations are true, should resign, and that's what the president has just answered as new revelations occur. And what I did, and I watched that second time I listened to it, and it will be the third time, because I watched the president's press conference this morning with Prime Minister Blair. I didn't notice till that listening that people were laughing. Think about that on Ronald Reagan's birthday. We're laughing about a discussion with the president of the free world, the leader of the free world, saying he would never resign. All right, well, here's the latest, and everybody's flying around at the crack. The story broke last night at the state dinner, which was a gas. I'll talk about that later. Stevie Wonder and Elton John and... Well, it was fabulous. I'll tell you about that later. But the story was breaking last night, and there's a bit of a frenzy going on there, which reached fevered pitch by this morning over a New York Times account and a Washington Post account. Differently interpretable, let me say it that way, of the president's secretary's account of a conversation she had with the president at his request the day after he was deposed for 6 hours in the Paula Jones case, in which the New York Times says or implies that he coached her. I was never alone with Monica, right? And which the New York and the Washington Post seems to imply that he was trying to refresh his recollection after the fact. Did this, in other words, his saying to her the day after, I was never alone with Monica, right, was affirmation in his mind of the correctness of what he had told under oath. It seems to me a little suspect he would ask for affirmation or confirmation of his recollection after his deposition, but let's say that's open to interpretation. Also alleged in Curry's testimony before the grand jury was that the president said, or that somehow between that conversation the day after his deposition and Monica Lewis's, and the Ken Starrs searching Monica Lewis's apartment, the gifts that he gave her were retrieved by Betty Curry. It's unknown how Betty Curry came to ask Monica Lewinsky for the gifts that the president gave her back. Why did Betty ask for them back? Did the president ask her to ask for them to be returned? The tapes say that Monica says, the president says, they can't get the gifts if you don't have them, which seems to comport with another thing she said. They can't find you if you're in New York. Anyway, they will talk about their response, which has basically been it's been unequivocally to attack Ken Starr for these leaks in the press for their irresponsibility. And no press guy, just because he was able to get, again, in a comported way, through a composed way, rather, through a press conference, the press now is totally ignoring the question of the gifts. Why did Betty Curry retrieve the gifts? Would you guys just stay on point? I want to ask Mark Leventhal, they were bugging, we're imposing on our friends again, just about the attacks on Ken Starr today, which have been stepped up. They're now looking for specific legal action against Ken Starr, and also the press's reaction. Stay with us on Ronald Reagan's birthday on the CBS Talk Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Governor Hunt wants a united plan for tobacco. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Willoughby on the North Carolina News Network. The Tobacco Growers Association had the largest gathering yet for its annual meeting at the state fairgrounds. The farmers heard Governor Jim Hunt call for a united plan from the group that would compensate the farmers for what they lose under a national tobacco settlement.
You'd all like to have it exactly like you want it. But I want to say this to you now, and I really mean it. If we don't get together in the tobacco family, we are going to get left out.
Agriculture Commissioner Jim Graham proposed a universal fund that would distribute help, but he didn't say where that money would come from. The governor's task force on driving while impaired discussed the 853 cars seized from drunk motorists under the program in 2 months. Some school districts say they're having trouble dealing with the storage and towing costs, but legislators say that probably will be fixed by the legislature this year. Watauga and Ashe counties have been added to the list of North Carolina counties eligible for federal disaster aid. Transylvania County also was declared eligible for federal aid yesterday. Mitchell and Avery counties were approved for federal aid January 15th. Meanwhile, the rivers continue to rise in the east. Tom Ditt with the State Emergency Management Office says a dozen state roads are out of service.
Almost a dozen roads across eastern North Carolina are closed in some fashion because of high water or washouts. DOT is working in those areas to get those roads repaired, put up barricades to keep people out of those areas where they can flood.
He says the state is standing by in case people have to be rescued or evacuated. Agents have searched a home in Marble and a storage shed looking for clues to the whereabouts of a witness in the Alabama abortion clinic bombing, but they have not been able to find Eric Robert Rudolph. The FBI has since published an open letter asking him to call. You're listening to the North Carolina News Network.
There's all kinds of delicious barbecue. There's barbecue pulled pork splash with a Carolina mustard sauce, baby back ribs barbecued with a black dip rub. There's even barbecue deep-fried turkey, Cajun style. But no matter what kind of barbecue you fancy, there doesn't have to be any heartburn as long as you took your Axe AR. Work so fast it can stop your heartburn before it starts. So the only thing burning is the grill. Axe AR for heartburn. Bring on the real food.
Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Oh, to a cold sore. This morning when I caught my reflection, I saw a great big imperfection. An ugly cold sore looked back at me, a pox of painful misery. But then I heard there's something specific made just for cold sores, and it's terrific. stops pain fast, protects the sore. Ambisol cold sore therapy. Who could ask for more? It's the only one with aloe and vitamin E. You'll love Ambisol cold sore therapy. Put it on. The pain is gone. Use only as directed.
A group opposed to using public money for a Major League Baseball stadium in the Triad plans to organize its campaign tomorrow. Ken Conrad is a restaurant owner in Guilford County. He says if approved, this tax would tax $1 million out of Guilford and Forsyth County each month for 25 years.
That's $1 million a month. They need to retire this debt, $12.4 million a year. That's $36,000 a day for 25 years.
Conrad says 40,000 people have signed the petition opposing the tax. One of the state's fastest-growing HMOs has been cited for more than 50 state insurance regulation violations. The state insurance department can fine doctors' health plan for each of the citations. A federal jury ruled the corporation that runs American Eagle is liable for the 1994 commuter jet crash near Raleigh-Durham Airport. That will affect 9 lawsuits. I'm Matt Willoughby in Raleigh on the North Carolina News Network.
1150 WGBR.
I was pleased that Ms. Curry's lawyers stated unambiguously this morning, that she's not aware of any unethical conduct.
Well, not exactly. Let me simultaneously thank from the bottom of my heart, all of our hearts across the country, and apologize to the president of the Landmark Legal Foundation and the leader of the vast right-wing conspiracy, Mark Levin, for butting in on his time as often as we do. Well, just think, if if the Landmark Legal Foundation is as pressed as it is because I'm so intrusive, think what's going on in the White House. That it is not the nation's business. This is an all-consuming, time-consuming, brain-consuming, endless, canoodling scandal. Welcome again, Mark.
First of all, you're not impinging on our time. We love talking to you, and thank you for inviting us on the show.
Well, thank you, because you all, I'm lost. I am lost. First of all, let me ask you this. This I've already summarized for our friends across the country the Betty Curry business today. This story broke last night, and her lawyer responded last night without commenting on the allegations raised in this article to the extent, in the New York Times article, to the extent there is any implication or suggestion that Mrs. Curry was aware of any legal or ethical impropriety by anyone, that implication or suggestion is entirely inaccurate. In other words, defending his client. All right, today, that did not stem the frenzy this morning. So today, the White House, Mike McCurry, reads a news statement from Curry's lawyer, which is the one the president just referenced, which, by the way, does not say what the president said it said, which is, I want to be absolutely clear, to the extent there is any implication or the slightest suggestion that Mrs. Curry believes that the president or anyone else tried to influence her recollections, that is absolutely false and a mischaracterization of the facts. 2 questions here. One, this follows on the heels of 2 days ago, within 90 minutes, an hour to 90 minutes of the Wall Street Journal's interactive report of the steward's testimony before the grand jury, that he found residue after a private meeting of Lewinsky and the president, which he told the Secret Service about. The White House issued a statement from his lawyer. Do they have all these lawyers wired up? And I'm not... yesterday, someone told us this is called defense agreement. Are all the lawyers in this that Ken Starr, of all the people that Ken Starr is questioning, are all their lawyers being directed by the White House?
Well, I'm starting to think, look, I can't prove it, but that all these criminal defense lawyers are, in fact, or at least a lot of them, talking to each other. There's really nothing to prohibit that or prevent that. I think it's really too coincidental that Kerry's lawyer comes out with a very legalistic statement saying that she didn't relating it back to the law and ethics, and of course nobody's asking her opinion on the law and ethics. They want the facts. And now today he takes a completely different tack. This guy Ginsburg, who has become punch drunk with his own media popularity, he's been making bizarre statements bouncing off one wall and another. And they're all very similar, denying the information that comes out and attacking Ken Starr. And in fact, shortly, I understand David Kendall, the National Enquirer's lawyer, is going to be having a press conference asking the Justice Department to investigate Ken Starr.
At 4:30, Kendall, the president's chief lawyer, as Mark Lemon just said, having said earlier today, the investigator cannot investigate himself, and they want to investigate Starr's leaks. That's
well, you know what? You know, Mr.
What
Kendall,
he says, what they say are Starr's leaks.
Well,
Ken Starr, let me say what Ken Starr said today. He's very concerned about this. He takes it seriously. It's a professional operation. He's going to find out what's going on. Everyone is, you know, people who are either neutral or against the president on this are now starting to turn on Ken Starr. He said, look, politically, this guy can't be leaking this stuff because it's been backfiring on him. If he was, he is really a dope because it's backfiring on him. Furthermore, it is taught. Will you tell us what the law is on leaking? If Ken Starr were leaking, isn't this is specifically forbade by the law, and what are the consequences of it?
All right. First of all those liberals out there saying Ken Starr's leaking, they're the same people that say, where's the evidence that Bill Clinton has done anything wrong? Where's their evidence? We need to see it. Secondly, under Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, which is in the Title 18 United States Code, Rule 6, lawyers out there know it's called 6E. In any event, witnesses are fairly free to go out there and speak their minds about what they testified to in the grand jury, but everyone else is not. So the grand jurors may not, attorneys present, that is, the prosecutors may not, the stenographers may not, the janitor, if he happens to overhear it, he may not, or she may not. And the consequence is that it's a criminal violation. Basically, the court can hold the leaker in contempt. And holding them in contempt, there's a wide variety of things, as we know from the McDougal case and so forth, that a judge can do with a person who leaks. Now, it would have to be proven that they leaked. You can't just make an allegation. And I seem to recall that Janet Reno, over and over again, when considering the independent counsel statute, said that there are differences between facts and the truth and the evidence and allegations. And what we have here now is a chorus of allegations against Ken Starr. Nobody can point to anybody. And this is an organization that reporters have told me in the past when they interview me, that is Ken Starr's, that is very tight-lipped. Now, let's also recall that the first leak out of the box, which was the leak that Ken Starr had wired Tripp and that he was pursuing Jordan and the president, clearly did not come from Ken Starr because he specifically asked Newsweek and Isikoff not to run with the story.
In fact, a lot of these leaks have really hurt Ken Starr's case. They truncated the investigation. They have revealed facts that would have really corroborated and made his case, and by their early revelation have allowed the witnesses to discard the evidence, I think, and the dress and gifts and other things like that. So he doesn't want these leaks. But can you give us, having been in the middle of so many of these investigations, who else might be leaking? And we know who some of the leakers are. We know that Linda Tripp's leaked. We know that Lucy Ann Goldberg has leaked. Who might be some other categories of...
Let me tell you, and this is not far-fetched, people with connections to the White House or other witnesses may leak on something like this. And let me tell you why. It is not in Ken Starr's interest for what turns out to be potentially a blockbuster witness with very important testimony, if we believe what we read, to reveal that to the target of his investigation, that is Bill Clinton. You know, one day Bill Clinton may come before this very grand jury. And as any prosecutor out there who may be listening, or FBI agent, or any investigator knows, you don't want to reveal up front that you have this information. You want to ask him the facts, ask him what happened, and then later during the interview, present to him other witnesses that have contradictory statements. So to what benefit is this for Ken Starr? He's not playing a public relations game. He's a prosecutor. He's not a politician. And the fact is that even if they put it out to say gotcha in the court of public opinion, that undermines his own investigation.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for saying that in the way that I couldn't make my tongue wrap around the words. The reason you can commonsensically know that Ken Starr isn't leaking this is because it is not serving any purpose of his, which is to get through this investigation. Now, what is Kendall, but they've been hurdling charges. It's one thing for Serpenthead to go out there and attack Ken Starr. It's another for David Kendall Williams and Connolly, President and Mrs. Clinton's personal lawyer, to take the step he's going to take at 4:30 today, which is to call for an investigation of Ken Starr. What does that mean?
I think first the public needs to understand that David Kendall, Bob Bennett, they are nothing but agents of the President or the First Lady. They don't do anything without their permission, let alone hold a national press conference. So this is Bill Clinton having his lawyer go out and hold this press conference because they want to get aggressive, they want to get offensive, and they want to change the headlines and change everyone's opinion. And what Kendall is likely to say is that somebody has violated the grand jury secrecy that we just talked about. He will point the finger at the prosecutor's office saying, we don't know where it's coming from, we're troubled by this. He may also make comments about obstruction if he gets all in a lather, and other possibilities, and he's going to demand an investigation. Now, I don't think, again, that it's mere coincidence that the same claims have been made by John Conyers. He made them the other day in a letter to Reno, although the facts may be somewhat different. If you don't believe, that is the public, that this White House isn't talking to its friendly members of Congress and then coordinating their legal strategy, then, then I'm not a lawyer. I'm a ballerina.
Stu just gave us the hook, but one question. If the President, as you just said, sent Kendall on to do this, and we all know that that is so, what he is asking Kendall to do, and if he believes that it's so, and Kendall has evidence for it, wouldn't that be grounds for the President himself to just remove Ken Starr?
It would be grounds under the Independent Counsel Act for him to order the Attorney General to fire him. And in my view, under the Constitution, since Ken Starr ultimately reports to the President and only gets his authority as a result of working for the President can fire him. So you're right. What he's doing is hiding behind Kendall's skirt, so to speak. There's no reason for him to ask for an investigation. You have evidence, you don't like him, then fire him. The reason they're not going to do that is they remember Watergate. All hell broke loose when Nixon fired Cox, and then Jaworski came in and was twice as aggressive as Cox. If they get rid of Starr and bring in somebody else, all the attacks from Carville and the rest of them are for naught, and this guy has the same career staff, the same career FBI agents and prosecutors that Starr had, and the case will continue.
This should be our mantra. If you really think that Ken Starr is doing what you're accusing him of, then fire him. We'll proceed without Ken Starr. He wants to go to Pepperdine anyway. Go ahead. If you believe this, don't hide behind Kendall's skirts. Go ahead and fire him. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being so generous with your time. Mark Levin of the Landmark Legal Foundation. And again, we're linked to his website, and up there will be the vast right-wing conspiracy charges of which he is a prominent leader. Thank you. We'll be right back on the CBS Talk Radio Network.
Like to collect coupons? How about one that can save you 25%? At the JCPenney Super Weekend Sale, our 25% off coupon gives you 25% off regular price purchases. Come in Saturday and Sunday, ask for a coupon, and start collecting your favorite items store-wide for you, your kids, family, and home. Some exclusions apply. Hurry into the JCPenney Super Weekend Sale for a 25% off coupon that will more than redeem itself. JCPenney.
sleep just as well as you used to and feel better in the morning with Melatonex from SunSource. As we age, we gradually lose the melatonin our bodies produce to help us get a good night's rest, so sleep becomes more difficult. Drug-free Melatonex contains a form of the same natural melatonin, and time releases it gradually, the way our bodies do, for peaceful, restful sleep. Remember the name, Melatonex, and sleep better to feel better. Melatonex is available in pharmacy sections. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call toll-free 1-888-439-8300 for more information.
This Valentine's Day, send your sweetheart the most romantic gift they'll ever receive. Have a star named after them. For $45 and a call to 800-282-3333, the International Star Registry will send them a full-color parchment certificate, sky charts to locate their star, and a fascinating booklet on astronomy. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call 800-282-3333, the International Star Registry, 800-282-3333, a gift that lasts as long as your love.
Introducing the Stars Movie Channel theme song. Like the song says, Stars shows all movies, movies too big to miss, with hits just out of pay-per-view like The Nutty Professor and Shine. Stars, it's what a movie channel should be. So call 1-800-758-5555 and say, I want to see Stars.
This Saturday, be at the First Assembly of God in Goldsboro for Celebrate Gospel 98. A barbecue supper starts at 4 p.m. A concert with the Anchorman and Reverend F.C. Barnes & Company starts at 7 p.m. Tickets for this benefit event are available at the Christian Soldier on Spence Avenue. For additional information, call 736-1979. Join Reverend F.C. Barnes, the Anchorman, the Deacons family, and the Goldsboro Chapel Bell Course this Saturday evening at 7.
Hi, this is Dr. Joy Brown. As the turn of the century approaches, the changes leading up to it affect all of us. Please join me weekday mornings starting at 9 as I talk with people just like you who present interesting situations which you may face at some time or another in your life. I discuss everything from relationships to attitudes and the day-to-day struggles we all encounter. Tune in to the Dr. Joy Brown program Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. Hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR.
Hear what everybody's talking about with the Rush Limbaugh Show, weekdays noon till 3 on 1150 WGBR.
On something that the First Lady said recently about a right-wing conspiracy who's working against you. Could you explain how that conspiracy works, and specifically, are Linda Tripp, Ken Starr, and Monica Lewinsky part of that conspiracy?
You know, I've known her a long time, the First Lady, and she's very smart. And she's hardly ever wrong about anything. But I don't believe I should amplify on her observations in this case.
A tour de force this morning. A perfect political pitch presentation by the president, I must say. But I want you to understand this when you're watching the news tonight, because they're going to lead with Kendall's attack on Ken Starr. Now, you're clear on where we are on that, right? If Kendall had any evidence for the charge he's going to make this afternoon, the president could fire Ken Starr for cause and no one would complain. This is a red herring. Now, the other charge, as opposed to answering the facts, and of course their whole press conference was, I'm not going to answer that, or they're leaking, we're not, so that we're under I'm cooperating with the investigation. All right, so he answered nothing. He stayed with the Stonewall strategy this morning, but they definitely have escalated in the war on Ken Starr. Their second attack, their 2nd Battalion is going after the press. McCurry is flipping out, having earlier this week flipped out at the Wall Street Journal. In both cases, never addressing the facts. You understand what I'm saying? They attack the press for writing the stories. They attack Ken Starr for the leaks. And they never answer the facts of the leak, if it is a leak. It is a leak, but it's not. That doesn't mean it's coming from Ken Starr. And they attack the press. Now, let me say again, just remember this. It is not serving Ken Starr's purposes to leak. What do you think the guy is, as self-destructive as the president? Everything that's leaked has impeded his case, all right? And these press guys are out there pontificating, are postulating, are making this analysis, offering this analysis to you that the reason Ken Starr is leaking, they're buying right into the thing, is because it's squeezing Monica Lewinsky. Why would they squeeze her through the press? They'd go to Los Angeles or or wherever, to the Watergate, wherever she is, or call her mom and dad, who are AWOL parents, if you ask me. They could squeeze her. They don't have to squeeze her with the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, for Pete's sake. That is a bogus analysis. It's a very unsophisticated and stupid analysis. In the meantime, you got all the smoke. You got all the smoke, and no one is speaking to any of the facts that were in any of these stories, which are, did the steward who was in a position to see Lewinsky and the president together, was there any evidence of their meeting together, as was reported by the Wall Street Journal? Was there, as reported by the New York Times, a box of gifts retrieved from Mrs. Lewinsky by Mrs. Curry, Monica Lewinsky, by Mrs. Curry, given to the independent counsel? Why would Betty Curry ask Monica Lewinsky for the gifts that the president gave her back? Why? Well, Monica Lewinsky, according to her lawyers, or accounts given by lawyers who have been in contact with her lawyers, say Monica gave them back because Mr. Clinton said, President Clinton told her, that if she didn't have the gifts, she wouldn't have to turn them over. Okay. Try to stick on the facts. Try to stick on the points that they're not answering. The louder their voices, the more their lips are flapping, the more they're not answering. It's quite a paradox, isn't it? All right, that's it for this. In the next hour, well, you know what? I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do when we come back. All I'm urging you for this moment is to think about what it is they're not answering as you watch the coverage over the weekend. And I've now have used up the time I was going to use to tell my story about this. And I know it's bumming you out, Ann, and everybody else, but we'll talk about the state dinner at another time. Don't worry, I'm not going to forget a thing. We'll be right back on the CBS Talk Radio Network.
Like to collect coupons? How about one that can save you 25%? At the JCPenney Super Weekend Sale, our 25% off coupon gives you 25% off regular price purchases. Come in Saturday and Sunday, ask for a coupon, and start collecting your favorite items store-wide for you, your kids, family, and home. Some exclusions apply. Hurry in to the JCPenney Super Weekend Sale for a 25% off coupon that will more than redeem itself. JCPenney.
I found them in my linen closet, and I got cash for them.
I never realized how valuable they were.
They're talking about gold, old dental gold, like caps, parcels, and bridges that just sit there while they could be turned into cash. Call 1-800-GOLD-KIT, and Lippincott's Dental Recycling Department will pay you top dollar for that dental gold. First, we'll send you our postpaid Recycle Gold Kit free. Next, we'll send you cash. Recycle for cash now. Operators are standing by at 1-800-GOLD-KIT. That's 1-800-GOLD-KIT.
Here's great news.
Remember those boring radio commercials featuring IDT Internet Chairman Howard Jonas?
Well, business at IDT has been so good, Howard is too busy to record his own commercials.
Yay. Now, here's even better news. Order IDT's unbeatable Internet and get your first and 13th month free.
Now IDT hasn't raised its rates. Still just $19.95 a month, but you get so much more.
No contract obligation.
Correct.
Unlimited access.
Of course.
Email.
Check.
National access?
Naturally.
Free Netscape or Internet Explorer?
It's your choice.
Unlimited 24-hour live tech support?
That's IDD's middle name.
Oh, plus 4 megabytes of storage, minimum 33K connection, plus free news groups, net-to-phone software, 2 a.m. interactive games, access to Genie chat rooms, and Planet Direct.
So, what are you waiting for? Dial 1-888-WWW-IDT9. That's 888-WWW-IDT9. But you'd better act now, or Howard will be back to doing his own commercials.
Oh, no, not that.
Isn't this a perfect spot for a picnic?
Oh, this was a great idea. Just you and me and the ants.
No, it's a picnic without ants. So how's the food?
The hint of thyme in the chicken, brown sugar and the baked beans, fresh ground black pepper on the potato salad.
There's no pepper on the potato salad.
No pepper?
Had your eyes examined lately? A message from the American Optometric Association. See us on the internet at aoanet.org.
10,000 eyes are on me, shouting, Casey, go all the way. First base, second base, third base. Make your move today. Do it, Casey, do it. Score mighty, Casey, score. I just don't get it. Is that what girls are for? If you don't talk with your kids about sex, who will? For a free booklet that can help you discuss all kinds of tough issues, call 1-800-CHILD-44, sponsored by Children Now.
From the WGBR Community Affairs Desk, a Special Populations Fun Club 2 for anyone with special needs age 18 and above is being offered every Thursday at the Herman Park Center from 2 till 3 in the afternoon. If you would like additional information concerning the Special Populations Fun Club 2, you can call 734-9397. Hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR. Can you believe it? After all the hype and everything, it was a blowout. Carolina defeated the top-ranked Duke Blue Devils in the Smith Center Thursday night by a final of 97-73. Quickly front court the other way. The alley-oop to Carter for the slam dunk. Right in between Langdon and Wojciechowski. Now the question becomes, can the Heels keep it going? Hi, this is Mick Mixon inviting you to join Woody Durham, Bill Zadites, our entire Tar Heel Sports Network crew as we huddle up from Atlanta, Georgia, Sunday with a 12:30 airtime as Carolina visits Georgia Tech. That's Tar Heel basketball right here Sunday, 12:30 on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
Well, let me just say I'm consistent. I said the same thing to the president last night that I say to you every day. I look like baby Huey. Don't tell me I look great. Well, I don't have time to tell you about the state dinner, but it was fabulous. We'll talk about that next week. I'm sorry. See, this is not just disrupting the president's business, the people's business. It's disrupting our business every day. We don't have time to gossip about it today. And I was going to get off of our planned celebration of President Reagan's 87th birthday, but I am not. We've covered this enough for you to be able to connect your own dots and read between the lines as you watch the coverage of this latest development tonight. And so in the next hour, we're staying on schedule with a great book. You're going to love this book. The former police commissioner of New York City totally turned around the crime situation there. And then in our final hour, tribute to Ronald Reagan with Dinesh D'Souza, the best book on Reagan, or among the best books on Reagan I've read. And you know what? We're not just celebrating his birthday. As you listen to that presidency, that leadership, that story of that man, it puts everything in context for you. So have a wonderful weekend.
This Saturday, be at the First Assembly of God in Goldsboro for Celebrate Gospel 98. A barbecue supper starts at 4 p.m. A concert with the Anchorman and Reverend F.C. Barnes and Company starts at 7 p.m. Tickets for this benefit event are available at the Christian Soldier on Spence Avenue. For additional information, call 736-1979. Join Reverend F.C. Barnes, the Anchorman, the Deacons family, and the Goldsboro Chapel Bell Course this Saturday evening at 7.
Rush Limbaugh,
George Bush, a man of honor. I know that's to be laughed at these days, unfortunately, but a man of honor and decency was accused in the Oval Office of something he had previously denied, and he got mad. He was outraged, and there was no doubt in anybody's mind who saw his response that he was telling the truth, and he was livid that he would dare be asked about this in the Oval Office. Now, you contrast that with Bill Clinton.
Join Rush weekdays at noon on WGBR.
First in Wayne County. Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News.
I do not have an explanation. I'm very concerned.